Hi guys, welcome to my channel Roots for Software Engineer. In this video, I want to discuss about ReactJS. Okay. Now today I will cover what is React and features of the React. Okay. Now let me write here. ReactJS. Okay. Now it is one of the open source library. It is one of the open source JavaScript library. It is one of the open source JavaScript library and it is used. Okay, it is used to build user interfaces. It is used to build user interfaces. That is nothing but we can see as, okay, now first one as single page application. We can say as single page application. Okay, now what is single page application? I covered in previous video. If you want, go through it. Okay, and next second one we can see as dynamic web application. By using ReactJS, we can create dynamic web application, means data changing dynamically. And next we can go with another thing called it as mobile application. Okay, now mobile applications also possible by using ReactJS. Okay, now this mobile applications we are using one subject called it as React Native, and React Native is one of the extension for the ReactJS subject. Okay, one of the extension for ReactJS subject. If you know ReactJS, then easy to learn React Native also. Okay, and next we'll go with here some features of the ReactJS. Features of ReactJS. Okay, now features of ReactJS, and first feature is we can see as component based architecture. Component based architecture. We can say as component based architecture. Okay, now okay, now here we can say React application. Okay, now we can say React application are made up of made up of made up of multiple multiple components. Okay, and next one is nothing but the virtual DOM. Okay, next one is nothing but the virtual DOM. Okay, and we can say here virtual DOM. Okay, virtual DOM we can see duplicate duplicate copy for real DOM. Duplicate copy for real DOM. Okay, means suppose for example, okay, now in my program I created like this. Okay, now first is HTML, and inside it is having two things. Okay, now one is head and second one is nothing but the body section, and inside head again we have, okay, now meta tag, and we can see as title tag. Okay, now when it comes to body, okay, now suppose imagine I created one paragraph and would decide h1 tab as well as one division, and inside division if I will create a paragraph, it will give here as well as suppose h2. Okay, now imagine it is the real DOM. Okay, now same duplicate copy reflected to here, that is nothing but the virtual DOM. Okay, now before modify anything to the real DOM, first it will modify in the virtual DOM. Okay, now we'll see this one here itself. Now body, and inside body we have here meta as well as we have title tag, and next inside, okay, now body we have paragraph, we have h1 as well as div, and inside div again we have paragraph as well as h2. Okay, now suppose imagine I want to change content. Okay, first content I need to replace with the another content. Suppose imagine here previously, here in the H1 tab previously we have, okay, now one text, call it as hi. Okay, now this text I need to replace with the welcome. Okay, means what happened, I am refreshing this content, correct? So that time directly if I will modify on the real time, complete web page will refresh, but our motto is to what is it go to the single page application, means without refreshing page we need to refresh our, or we need to modify our content, correct? So this time what happen, first it will affect to the virtual DOM. First it will affect to the virtual DOM. In the virtual DOM, first it will check which content we modified it. Okay, now it will check this content modified, so here it will update the value as welcome, and after that it will compare to the real DOM. It will compare to the real DOM what we modified in the virtual DOM. Okay, now that it will take, and next after taking this one, then it will go to here. Okay, now it will go to here and it will modify this particular content, but it will not modify complete DOM. Okay, now this process is nothing but the reconciliation process. Okay, now what is this process is nothing but the reconciliation process. Okay, now what is the reconciliation process? Okay, now reconciliation process means what, first it will affect to the virtual DOM. Okay, if anything changes in the virtual DOM, okay, now that will check with the real DOM if any modification is there or not. If it is there, it will modify that particular element, but it will not modify complete content. Okay, this process is nothing but the reconciliation process. Okay, now this is feature related to the virtual DOM, and next we'll go with another one. Okay, now that is nothing but the declarative approach. Okay, now approach declarative approach. Okay, now ReactJS we are saying as declarative approach, but actually here we have two types of approaches. One is imperative. Okay, imperative approach, and second one is nothing but the declarative approach. Okay, now when it comes to the ReactJS we are following declarative approach. When it comes to the JavaScript we are following imperative approach. Okay, now best example I will give different what is this imperative and declarative. Now look at here guys, suppose I am telling to my brother. Okay, I am telling to my brother, okay, please bhaiya give me one water bottle. Okay, now that time what he will do, directly he will went to the, okay, now kitchen room, and next he will take bottle and he will give it to me. Okay, without giving information, just I given what is that, I need water bottle, that's it. So directly he will go to the kitchen room, he will take water bottle and he will give it to me. Okay, means he is understanding even with the one single statement, that is nothing but the declarative approach. Okay, now if I will say like this, okay, Bhaiya, go to what is that, first kitchen room, open the kitchen door, go to kitchen room, open fridge and take it to me water bottle. Means what happened, complete process I am telling how to do it. Okay, that is nothing but the imperative approach. Okay, now imperative approach following JavaScript, but declarative approach following ReactJS. Here we will not give complete clarity to it, just we are giving one statement, directly it will follow, means it will understand and it will follow the rules and regulation. It will implement for us that particular requirement. Okay, that is nothing but the declarative approach. Okay, now we'll write here statement for the declarative approach. Okay, now React following declarative approach means it makes easier it makes easier easier to to predict predict and debug. Okay, to predict and debug the application applications. Okay, now application state at any point of time, at any point of time. Okay, now what it is doing, it makes easier to predict and debug our application state at any point of time. Okay, this is somewhat the easiest process compared to the imperative approach. Okay, next feature. Okay, now third feature is completed, right? Now fourth feature we can see as, okay, JSX. Okay, we can say as the JSX. Okay, now JSX means JavaScript. Okay, now XML code. JavaScript XML code means extensible markup language. Okay, now what is it? Look at here. Now this is somewhat different and benefit way compared to the previous one. Okay, now here JSX is a syntax actually. Okay, JSX is a syntax. Okay, now syntax extension is a syntax extension. Okay, now it allows it allows to write. Okay, now our HTML code, it allows to write our HTML code directly within okay, now within javascript. Previously we created separate .html file and separately .js file, and we connected it by using the script src, correct? But now in react.js directly in js file itself we are writing our html code, that is nothing but the JSX. Okay, JSX means JavaScript XML means, okay, now extensible markup language. Okay, now our each component in react.js we are saving with the .jsx. Okay, now .jsx means what? It is one of the JavaScript extension. It allows to write HTML elements directly in the JavaScript code itself. Okay, and next feature is nothing but unidirectional flow. Okay, next feature for the react.js we can say as unidirectional flow. Okay, we can say as unidirectional data flow. Unidirectional data flow. Okay, means, okay, suppose for example prop. Okay, now prop is one of the short form for property. Okay, it is one of the short form for property. Okay, short form for property. Let me write properly. Short form for property. Okay, now which is commonly used, okay, which is commonly used to pass data from parent to parent component to child component. Okay, from parent component to the child component. Okay, parent component to the child component. Okay, we can write here component via props. Okay, now to pass data, we are passing data through the props from parent to the child. Okay, but we cannot pass, okay, data from child to the parent. Okay, now child to parent is not possible, but parent to child is possible. With the help of props concept, that is nothing but the unidirection. Only one direction we are passing data from parent to child, but we are not taking parent child to the parent. Okay, now this is nothing but the unidirectional flow. Okay, now we'll go with the another feature. Okay, and what is that number? Sixth one, right? Okay, now sixth feature. Okay, now that is nothing but the state management. Okay, now in react.js we can manage our state also. Okay, now state management, and this state management is possible by using two things. One is by using state. Okay, and next state is one of the inbuilt object. Actually state is one of the inbuilt object. Okay, inbuilt object. Okay, now which is used to store property values, which is used to store property values. Any one of the property value we are storing inside the state is one of the objects, so it will take always values in the form of key as well as value pair. Okay, key and value pair, we are taking property values in the object. Okay, now state is nothing but the inbuilt object which is used to store our property values. Okay, and next second one, state management is possible by using the hooks concept. Okay, now hooks is same like the normal javascript functions only. Okay, now hooks is same like the normal javascript functions. Actually this hooks concept they introduced in the version of react, in the version of react dot react 16.8 version, 16.8 version. Okay, now which is used to maintain the what is it, state management. And here we have different types of hooks we have. Okay, we'll discuss in future. Okay, different types of hooks we have. Okay, and first hook name call it as use state hook we have. And next we can say as use effect. Okay, now use effect we have. And next another thing call it as use reducer hook. Okay, and we can say as use reducer. And next we can say as use context. Next another thing. Okay, now use memo we have. And next we can say as use callback. Okay, use callback. Like this, so many hooks we have to maintain our state. That all the things we'll discuss one by one later. Okay, now we'll give today class conclusion. What is it? Okay, now first we discussed about the ReactJS. Okay, ReactJS is one of the open source, okay, now library. It is used to build user interfaces, that is mainly single page application and dynamic web application as well as mobile application. Mobile application means we can use the React Native. Okay, for the React Native, okay, now we need extension is ReactJS extension is the React Native subject. Okay, next we discussed about the features. First one is the component based architecture, and each and everything is like one component only in the ReactJS. Okay, and next one is nothing but the virtual DOM. Okay, now if anything is modified in the DOM, first it will affect to the virtual DOM, later on it will compare with the real DOM. That process is nothing but the reconciliation process. Okay, that process is nothing but the reconciliation process. We can say it is one of the interview question. Okay, reconciliation is one interview question. And next another thing, declarative approach. Okay, declarative approach means our code is making like somewhat easier. Okay, next another thing, XML. Okay, XML means JavaScript. XML means extensible markup language, means HTML code in JavaScript itself we are writing in ReactJS. Okay, next another thing call it as unidirectional flow. Okay, now means it is passing, actually unidirectional is possible by using the prompt, and this prompt is used to pass data from parent to the child but not child to the parent. Okay, only it is taking unidirection. Next another thing call it as state management. And state management having with the two things, one is state as well as second one hooks. And hooks are the normal JavaScript functions. These are created in the ReactJS 16.8 version. And some different types of hooks we have, like use state, use effect, use reducer, use context, use memo, and use callback. And next statements, it is one of the inbuilt object which is used to maintain the property value, and this property value we are maintaining in the form of key and value pair. Okay, now remaining things we'll discuss in next class, guys. Thank you, bye bye.